Frustration where Katt Williams comes from, you keep pointing at Hollywood. When do you take responsibility for your actions? You had the shot. You were set up to be the star. You didn't show up to work. You f***ed off promo shoots.
The industry doesn't mess with Katt because he didn't show up for the studio. No studios have ever said that. Look at my IMDb. It will show you that no studio has ever lost money with me on the script.
At one point in time, I had 7 shows on TV all at once. So in 2012, I had to walk away.
Steve told you that he stopped doing stand-up because he had 7 TV shows. The only problem is when he stopped stand-up, he didn't have those 7 TV shows.
I auditioned for Mighty Mike.
Right.
You know, so when I went in there to audition, I'm at the toilet. When Katt Williams went to use the bathroom, that's the line I had to use to audition. So they switched it up. So I was like, yeah, I can do this Santa Claus role. But I didn't know that, because I did my role like in 4 days.
35 members of the cast and crew have never brought up that Ricky Smiley was gonna play Money Mike. No one ever saw me put on a Santa Claus suit. We got a wardrobe department. They made a Santa Claus suit for me. Why that wasn't in the bloopers? And here's the other thing. Everything that Money Mike said, Katt Williams wrote. So what Ricky Smiley say on his? You can't say my lines, I wrote them. That's how I already know that I'm gonna be funnier than you.
It's been almost a year since the infamous Katt Williams interview. And I really enjoyed the drama. I don't know what you think about it, but a lot of black comics in the black comic circuit, they did not enjoy Katt Williams talking recklessly about other comics, especially in the black field. They feel like they say things like the white comics, they don't talk about drama, which not true. If you know about Kill Tony and Tony Hinchcliffe, Anthony Jeselnik, they got a little beef going on. So maybe because it's not a part of your world that they're not able to see it, but there are issues, okay, especially in the white comedy area. But that's for another video. I enjoyed everything Katt said. I want to be clear that I'm not all for the drama. I mean, I like it, but I'm not all for it. It's entertaining. And being a part of the entertainment business, you want the business. You want information, right? Because we what I feel like is with Katt Williams' interview on Club Shay Shay, I think that it was it's like a fly on the wall, right? Being that I'm in comedy and I deal with other comics, I understand that there are things done behind the scenes. There are joke stealing because, hey, when I first moved out to Texas, I called out a couple of comedians for stealing jokes. And I was told by people, club owners, hey, don't be doing that. We don't want controversy within our scene. So I've been in that position, but on a lower scale. So I do understand where Katt was coming from, because you're going to have people that talk smack. There's going to be people that are not going to put you on shows. There are going to be people that are going to stop opportunities for you. So to hear it on the higher level was extremely interesting. I don't believe everything Katt said was true, but I also believe some of it was true. Okay. Stealing of jokes. I don't know, the Cedric the Entertainer joke, that was kind of, I don't know how you feel about that. But Kevin Hart being a plant, I listened to Kevin Hart's audiobook, and I understand that he went from Philadelphia to New York pretty much every night doing comedy shows with, what's his name? What is his name? I know it's Keith Robinson and Big J. Okerson. And now what's crazy is Big J. Okerson is now under the Rogan sphere in the New York comics, and Kevin has just taken off. But during during the autobiography, I listened, and he did put in a lot of work, right? He did go and went through the circuit of clubs and was able to get to that next level by getting an agent and all of the above. Now, as far as being a plant, I can't say. I don't know. But what I will say is he did blow up kind of fast and then kind of like tanked immediately. And then after tanking, went back on the road, right? Hit ground level, went back on the road and built his audience again. Now, do I think that Kevin is the best actor? Nah. But is he funny? Because a lot of people says he's not funny. I don't believe that, because he wouldn't be having these opportunities if he wasn't funny. Listen, there's a lot that he said in that first video, because like when he was like, pop Cedric's belly, that was hilarious. Steve Harvey, do y'all know? I didn't know. I had to do my research. I had to go back and look, and I was like, did Steve steal everything from Mark Curry? And after seeing the Mark Curry show, I was hanging with Mr. Cooper, and I was a fan of the Steve Harvey show. I don't even know why now. Now that I'm older, I'm like, nah. But I did enjoy it when I watched it. But now I see the similarities of the two, and I can definitely tell you, eerily similar. I just enjoy that people are able to speak their truth. People are able to come out and tell how they feel and have a platform to do so. I think that people don't want their dirty people don't want their dirty laundry to be out there. And I say don't have dirty laundry if you don't want it to be out there. So I think we should go to another clip, right? And then check out what he has to say, and then I'll come back and talk about that.
Told you when you asked him, did you steal Katt Williams' joke? Yeah. He said it don't line up. How it don't line up that I did it on TV in 2018? You came to see me at the Comedy Store do it in 2019 and then did it on the Kings of Comedy. This is a televised joke that Mark Curry helped me punch up and get to the level that it was. The same Steve that went to go watch Mark Curry do his whole sitcom and then stole everything Mark Curry had. Now Steve got a sitcom where he the principal and he wear a suit. Then you ask him, why you not a movie star? I didn't want to be a movie star. This the same Negro that hated on Bernie with this same thing. I didn't want to be a movie star. No, you couldn't be a movie star. There are 30,000 new scripts in Hollywood every year. Not one of them asks for a country bumpkin black dude that can't talk good Obacaby and look like Mr. Potato Head. There ain't none. You would have to have range. I played a lot of characters, 60 movie roles. I'm not playing Katt Williams in there. For a 5-year period, every single movie that Kevin Hart did was a movie that had been on my desk. That all I had said was, just, can we take some of this step and fetch it shit out? And then I can do it. Like, it don't need to be overtly homosexual, because I'm not homosexual, right? It doesn't need that to be funny, right? Mm-hmm. And me saying that and them going, oh yeah, no problem. And then going to give it to this other guy and having him do it just like it was and acting like I'm a bad person because I keep standing on my standard. You know what the number one job of somebody that sold their soul in Hollywood is? What? Is to act like it didn't happen. They all do the same job. Why do you think Gary Owen can't cross over and he already white and been in comedy for 25 years? If what I say ain't the case. This is how you end up with a Michael Blackson who's a real African doing a fake African accent. Okay, this guy is mad at me. All I did was give him the best advice of his life. Remember, he was wearing dirty dashikis. And I told him he needed to dress to be in the position that he's trying to say that he's in. And if you're the African king of comedy, sir, there's actually comedians in Africa doing comedy. If you're going to say that, you got to go to Africa and get a school, dude. Everybody you got to put in some work. And these guys, they take my advice, they change their whole persona, and then they hate me for it. This is like Steve Harvey telling people he used to be homeless. That's my story. That's not his story. Steve Harvey wasn't never homeless. When Mark Curry was touring with him 25 years ago, he was making $3,000 a show in cash and doing 5 shows a week. They just tell the stories. Thanks to my wife, I'm where I am. You said that about the first wife. You forget that? You told us it was her. Then you went and married somebody else that that think like a man. Like, what are you talking about? They think they can rewrite history. Guy Torrey did a beautiful special about the Comedy Store and Fat Tuesday, where he said that Steve and Cedric and Kevin Hart and Tiffany Haddish came through there and made... All lies. Steve and Cedric never performed at the Comedy Store at all. Tiffany was only seen at the Laugh Factory. In 15 years in Hollywood, no one in Hollywood has a memory of going to a sold-out Kevin Hart show, there being a line for him ever getting a standing ovation at any comedy club. He already had his deals when he got here. Have we heard of a comedian that came to L.A. and in his first year in L.A. he had his own sitcom on network television and had his own movie called Soul Plane that he was leading? No, we've never heard of that before that person or since that person. What do you think a plant is?
Katt Williams won Cedric the Entertainer's and Anheuser-Busch Best Los Angeles Comic Award. Did you win that award, won Katt Williams? It's a simple yes or no. It's not a rhetorical question.
It's a question that probably should have been asked to Cedric the Entertainer.
I'm asking you. I got you here, though.
I know. I couldn't believe Cedric didn't get asked that question. You steal a dude's joke and then give him an award, and then 10 years later you don't know nothing about it. Hey, but I promise you this.
What?
If he sees me again before he sees you, he'll be talking different when you see him. That's for certain. That's the difference. That's what these comics understand, is that I'm not doing nothing for clout. I don't even recognize clout. But eventually the Lord is going to let me and you be in one hallway. Kevin Hart done went 25 years without ever being in the same building with me at the same time. If I go in the building, he walk out. You've never seen us in the same building ever in 25 years. It's like that. Why? Why?
Yes.
Because I'm really the product. It's not what you think. I am never under the influence of anything. I'm always in my right mind. That would be like me being on Joe Rogan. Joe don't want me on there. I need to be on Shannon. Joe got 6 comedians that never been funny. He want to push out.
Make sure you like, comment, and share. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Dislike it if you didn't. Watching that clip, I realized that I think the video did extra well because, of course, the controversy, but because he called out so many other famous comedians that already have their own following that will cause controversy amongst these individuals, like Gary Owen. Gary Owen, I never thought about that. Why was this white comic only celebrated in the black spaces? Why wasn't he able to get into that crossover? I never even thought about it. I just was like, here's another Eminem of comedy running around telling his jokes about his family, but also being accepted in the black community because he had a black wife. That's how I got introduced to him. I've actually seen some of these comics live, right? And I actually worked, I won't even say worked, I was at a show where I wanted to try to get a spot on Gary Owens. Every black people says Owens instead of Owen. Gary Owen show. And that doesn't even sound like proper English. I went to Colorado Springs, and it was a black-owned comedy club there. I went and asked if I can get a guest spot. The way that he looked at me and the way that he didn't even respond to my question was crazy. It reminded me of like the time that I met Coolio. And when I met Coolio, it was in LA. It was at Usher's birthday party. I got lucky and got an opportunity to get in. And I just wanted to talk to him because one of my buddies was a musician at the time. I was doing music as well. And I tried to get him to be on a song. I was like, how much would it cost for me to put you on a song? And he would not talk to me straight ahead. He talked to his security guard and told his security guard what to tell me. Then I responded, and he's right there. I responded, and the security guard repeated what I said to him, and he told him to remind him that he don't talk to regular people. That was the craziest thing that I've ever had happen in my life when it comes to trying to talk to a celebrity. And they say don't try to meet your heroes, and I'm not saying that Coolio is one of my heroes by any means or any stretch, but to be able to have an opportunity to work with somebody that has hits would have been great. And that's the kind of way I felt with Gary, but no response, right? I ended up talking to his opener, and I got an opportunity to talk to his opener. I thought that was pretty cool. But Gary ain't a good person. That's probably why he never crossed over. So, hey, that's just what it is, especially with my experience. And there's other comedians that have had the same type of experience. So I think that might have something to do with it. It's not easier as a white comic to be funny because it's hard. Okay. I mean, wait, it's not easy being a white comic telling jokes in front of black audiences. That's what I meant to say, because it's not easy at all. Michael Blackson, he talked about Michael. I've seen Michael. I've seen Michael Blackson perform, and this is probably like a couple of months, not even 2 months ago. And he said "mother sucker" 89 times. And they laughed every time. So, I mean, hey, if it's working for you, it's been working for 30 years, might as well keep doing it. But I also understand where Katt was coming from of like the fake accent, because I believe, and I've heard him, like I seen him on, what's the name of that podcast? Vlad TV. I seen him switch it up. He was like, when I get pulled over by the police, I have a different accent. When I'm on stage, it's a different accent. When I do television, it's a different accent. It's a character. And I did research on Black history and comedy, and a lot of times the comedians were playing a character. So, I mean, is that what he's doing, is playing a character, and outside of comedy he's different? I don't know, but I do understand where Katt was coming from with that. I don't know anything about winning the competition, and if he did, that's crazy, and it's wild that Shannon didn't say anything. The last thing that I saw, and I want to wrap up the show, is when he talked about Joe Rogan and how he had 6 comics that have never been funny. I thought that was wild to say, because I won't say never been funny, right? Like that umbrella of comedy is different, and I have to live here in Austin, so I'm gonna tread very lightly. Okay, I'm gonna tread very lightly. I enjoyed early Tom Segura, and I also was highly impressed because Tom was able to do a completely different show in Spanish. Thought that was brilliant. Bert, I did like Bert when he told the stories about his daughters, but now this last special when he was talking about his wife and Snoop, I felt like he was just putting that shit together to get money. He was like, I gotta deal with them. I gotta drop out these specials. I want to make this money. And what was the other thing that he talked about? I just know that this caused a lot of controversy, and it caused a lot of controversy because of the names that were named. I wish more people told how they really felt, including myself. Like, I want to say things about the Rogan 6. I want to say things about some specials that I saw that I didn't think that were really good. But I do realize that speaking out can cause harm for me to move to those different levels because I live in this city, Austin. So you have to be careful, and I will continue to try my best to be as straightforward and honest as I can be. We're going to be doing these periodically, and it's going to be more of reactions to some of the things that I've seen, some of the podcasts and their thoughts of how they're viewed, especially from a Black comic standpoint, because being a Black comic in Austin is different. You're either really, really hood or really, really nerdy, and I don't think there's a lot of room for in the middle. There's a lot of shock value in it, but I want to learn how to maneuver in the best way possible. And I've learned a lot since I've been here, and it's only going to get better. So like, comment, subscribe, like the video if you did, dislike if you didn't, but that's all we got.